We're here with David Kirkpatrick, author of The Facebook Effect, and you mentioned in your book that Facebook kind of grew up as a company when it became a platform. So how do you think Facebook's acting as an adult now?
I think they're doing a pretty good job. I think that being a public company is a process of adaptation that they're just learning how to deal with. And obviously the world is much more critical of them now that there are all these financials that are open and for all to see. And I think that's going to get worse as the quarterly predictions come in from the analysts and they have to meet the estimated number and such. But from a platform point of view, Facebook still absolutely thinks of itself primarily as a platform company. That is their self-definition that the world does not understand. So you're asking absolutely the right question. Facebook views its platform as its essence, right? It doesn't really want to do apps. It really wants to be a platform. It wants to be part of the infrastructure of the internet, really. And that makes it quite unusual and in fact unique in the internet ecosystem, because even Google isn't really infrastructure per se. So, I can tell you that's what Zuckerberg thinks about every morning when he wakes up still.
What were your thoughts on the IPO? Were you surprised by anything?
I actually think it was much more successful than it generally is portrayed as being, because from the standpoint of Facebook, they got the absolute maximum amount of money, and that's the whole point of doing it, right?
I'm sorry?
No, people didn't deserve a pop. They buyer beware, and I think the stock's going to go up above 38 anyway. It's been climbing steadily lately.
You just finished the talk here with Bill Ford, and mobility was one of the topics. Facebook's come under fire some for its lack of an iPad app for a long time, and kind of a lackluster mobile app on iPhones and Androids. What are the thoughts from Facebook on that end? Are they concerned about that, or is that back burner?
Well, it took a long time for them to realize how important mobile was. I think Chamath Palihapitiya, who was head of mobile, really hammered it, but he was not always understood. They're behind on their mobile apps now, there's no question. But if you've noticed, they've been hiring like crazy, including from Apple lately. And there's a lot of talk that they may even build their own mobile phone. I think what we're going to see first is much better mobile apps. Certainly the iPad, they do have some progress there, but they've got a lot more to go. They have an app, but it was late and it's still not that good, and I find it difficult to use, and it has a lot of bugs in it. I encounter them all the time when I use it. So they're behind. They can't stay behind. It's critical. Everybody knows the internet is mobile. I mean, pretty much there isn't going to be an internet that's not mobile. So they don't have a choice.
And last question, you mentioned last couple chapters of your book, Twitter is the big competitor. Do you still view that, or has Facebook reached the point where it's kind of like Coca-Cola? It's the brand name now that all social media are...
First of all, thank you for having read my book. I appreciate that. Twitter is a minor factor. Twitter's important, but it's a whole different kind of business. I don't really see it as a competitor for Facebook in any big way. Maybe for advertising, there's some battle for... If Twitter really does have $1 billion in ad revenue this year, which they're projecting, that could be very good. Are you leaving? Okay. Anyway, good. Sorry. But I'd say, the people that Facebook is worried about are three: Google, Apple, and Amazon. They've recently had a sort of détente with Apple, and that was very significant that, Apple now, iOS is going to support Facebook much more than it has in the past. I think that's going to give them a little relief, but you can't be confident that Apple won't turn around and screw you in some way.
It's the enemy of the enemy.
Those four companies are all so powerful, but you have a sort of a new kairetsu that's emerged, where you have Apple and Facebook, and on Facebook's side you also have Microsoft and Yahoo, and they all hate Google equally, right? So Google has to worry about that four companies all sort of ganging up against them, because Yahoo even isn't somebody you can rule out entirely. Then meanwhile you have Amazon over here just sort of gradually taking over more and more businesses, and nobody knows how to stop them. And Jeff Bezos, in my opinion, is the closest thing to Steve Jobs we have, and Amazon's importance is going to grow and grow and grow and grow. So they know that at Facebook, and they're thinking hard about it. They don't know what to, these are very rapidly changing markets, and the enemy today is the friend tomorrow, and you never know.
Does Facebook view Google Plus as a real threat?
I think they were really worried about it when it first came out, but just as they were with Twitter early on. But like so many things, they kind of copy the features and move on, and Google Plus is not a major factor in the marketplace right now, in my opinion.